Hi there, this is Jo Zuleka, founder of the Facebook group Women Who Lead with Heart. And the topic today is, do you have imposter syndrome? I am coming into contact with so many women in my group, out there in the world, so accomplished, successful, making things happen, seemingly self-confident and self-assured, but secretly suffer from what's known as imposter syndrome. This sort of nagging self-doubt that sort of eats away at you and kind of drives you and keeps you like churning and burning. Sometimes it shows up as negative self-talk and generally just feeling like you don't belong, feeling sort of like you're going to get found out as a fraud, that someone's going to figure out you don't belong at the high levels that you do, that you're a fake, or that you don't deserve what you have. And as I say that, I'm sure you can just see how terribly low and sucky that vibe is. If you were to believe all of these things about yourself, you're not going to be feeling encouraged and free to take risks and excited about your job and your career. You're going to be holding yourself back. You're going to be holding yourself safe and small. And you're going to be working your tail off so that no one finds out what you secretly believe is true about yourself. Does that resonate for you? And is that something that you're suffering with? I'm here to help. I have so many ideas, so many tips and tricks, so many things I coach women on, but really it comes down to one tip, one thing that you can do if you suffer from imposter syndrome. The one reason why you have it, and this is kind of like a no surprise here type answer. The one reason you have imposter syndrome is that you do not see yourself in all your amazing gifts and talents, all your good qualities and characteristics, all of the amazing things that you bring to the table, the way other people do. That's it. You have unique gifts and strengths. You are smart, you are capable, you are talented, you have life experience, you have job experience. And here's the thing, not everyone can do what you can do. So when I'm in a coaching relationship with a woman who's really suffering from this, the first thing that will happen is she'll say like, oh yeah, I know I'm good at that, but you know, it's not that big a deal. Everyone can do that, or I would have to do that. Otherwise I wouldn't have my job. And so there's this sort of like blanket disregard for their own talents and strengths, for the things that as individuals, we are uniquely capable of doing, that our own blend of strengths and learning and brilliance brings out in us in a way that no one else has. We discount it. We don't think it's important. We don't think it's enough. We don't think it makes any difference. We think everybody must have it. So my number one lesson for you is to know that not everyone can do what you can do. You have to see how you are good. You have to see your strengths and don't dismiss them. So I'm going to give you some tactical tips for how you can kind of like, root this in so that you can stop suffering, feeling so bad and low, or hustling like you don't belong and that you're trying to outrun getting fired. So here are some techniques. Number one, find someone else to teach. Find a woman that is, younger in her career, newer in her role. Ask her out for coffee and ask her how her job's going, how her career's going. What does she worry about? I bet you have something you can teach. I bet you have a way that you could reassure or mentor somebody who's newer in their career. And this is such an unleashing way of seeing your own growth. This is such a fantastic way of being in service and out of your head, out of your sabotaging thoughts, and seeing that you have something to offer. You have arrived at a certain level that you're at, and you can share and teach others. You can lift someone else up. This helps you see what you do know. Related to that would be to see how far you have come. If you're really suffering, feeling like, oh, I just so don't belong here. I don't know why I'm here. I don't feel worthy or good enough. You need to take a break and remember when you started in your career, in your job, wherever you were 10 years ago is not where you are now. You have grown and evolved and developed and learned. You need to see how far you've come, as opposed to sort of torturing yourself with how far you still feel like you have yet to go. So I often have clients of mine actually document, write a big list of every success, every win, every accomplishment, and I don't mean just, degrees. I mean, things that you actually did that were good, achievements, wins, so that you can see more objectively that it's not just what is missing. You need to see what is here. You need to stop comparing yourself to others, to other people. It's just a go nowhere proposition that comparing yourself, unless it's to your 8-year-old girl self, it's just not helpful. And it's a way that your brain's tricking you into feeling bad and wrong and like you have to whip yourself into some action. So comparison is really not the way you want to go. I like to encourage you to look at how you can reframe mistakes. Perfectionism at this level isn't helpful. Perfectionism is something that's going to just torment you or keep you stuck because you're afraid of not looking good enough, not being perfect, and it's not helpful. So if you could see your life as a lab and feel like, I'm going to give this a try and I'm going to see what the results are, rather than feeling like it's a do or die, like high stakes situation, that can be a very helpful thing as well. And then lastly, I like to suggest that you probably have something inside of you that says, oh, I could never make a mistake, or I hate messing up. I hate showing my weakness. I don't feel comfortable asking for help. Whatever script you have or belief that you have that runs in your head that sort of stokes this sabotaging complex, this imposter syndrome, you want to find some easier way of speaking to yourself. And when you hear that voice speaking to yourself in an unkind way or in a hustling to prove way, try something like, everyone has an off day, or it's okay to ask for help. It's okay that I don't have the answers right away for everything. These kinds of softening mantras or new beliefs can really ease off the tension that you're putting on yourself to be perfect, and to not have a flaw. You might consider if the way you're speaking to yourself or the beliefs that you have were something that a really good friend of yours was saying about themselves, would you let them believe it? Or would you help them soften it and say, that's ridiculous. Of course you can ask for help. Of course you need to learn a little bit more when you're new in a role. Of course it's okay to ask questions. Of course it's okay to be involved and try something new even if it doesn't work. You want to try to find that softer, more encouraging friend vibe with your own self. Okay, so those are just a few tactical tips that I like to give women that I'm working with to unleash a little more creativity and a little more permission than to be so tied up and balled up with this tension and this fear of imposter syndrome and not being good enough. Because the irony is, if you're hustling to prove, if you feel sort of afraid that you don't belong, if you are working so hard to not expose some weakness, you're actually coming from a place of weakness. When you're in that mode, you're hustling out of fear. You are trying to prove yourself. You're scraping and working from a really reactive state, not an expansive, excited, fun, creative, playful state, which is where all the good things happen and where all the good feelings are. So the reason why you really need to drop this imposter syndrome is it's keeping you playing small. It's actually you feeling small is keeping you small. So there's only so much we can do in this one-way format. And that's why I encourage anyone who's resonating with this topic, who really feels that they want to go bigger in their life or shed some of this self-doubt or these limiting beliefs or this sort of obsessing over negative things in your world. I can work with you either one-on-one or in a small group. I have 2 different ways of helping women kind of shake loose from these really constraining, limiting ways of being so that you can be the impactful, amazing leader that you want to be, so that you can have more fun at work and you can feel more expansive and joy in your life. It's amazing work to be doing. It's not hard. You can totally get there, and it's what I most want for you. So if you're curious about what that could look like, I'll put a link in the comments below of how you could book a free call with me. You can tell me what's going on in your world, what you need help with, and we can see if working with me is a match. That's what I've got for now. Go well.